Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to my channel, and today is our 2K celebration. Thank you all for 2K. Can I be honest? When I started my channel, if I knew that eventually 2,000 people would be subscribed, I might have just scared myself into not starting it. Like, that's so wild to me, but it's also like the best thing ever. Like, I'm so grateful for all of you. Like, I've said this before, but I really like the community that we've created. I don't know, I just get such positive vibes from all of you, and it's because of you. Like, it's not me. It's not me. Thank you so much for building the space to be what it is. I'm so immensely grateful. I asked you guys to send your assumptions about me, and so I have them here. I'm gonna be responding. Okay, so the first assumption is you and your sister are best friends. You can ask my sister. I would say that in a lot of ways my sister is like my best friend, but then a lot of ways my sister is like my sister, you know? So it's a different kind of relationship. I mean, we're not together as much anymore after when we go to different universities. Definitely we see each other less than when we live together. Okay, the next one is you haven't read the Nikolai duology, which is true. What is it called? King of Scars, Rule of Wolves? I forget which one the first book is, but yeah, I haven't read them, and I'm still deciding in my head whether I do want to read them or not. The longer that it takes for me to decide, the more that I'm probably not going to read it, because I'm going to forget everything that happened in the last books. I'm here for the Six of Crows characters, so if they aren't a thing in the Nikolai duology, I'm just like, for why? The next assumption is you are a soft-hearted person. Do you think so? Okay. Wait, what do you mean by soft heart? I think that I am. I think that I can be very sensitive for certain things. Yeah, things that like other people say or how other people think about me kind of stuff. That stuff I think I can be like soft-hearted. Your type IRL wouldn't be like Kaz, which is so true. Could not be closer to the truth. I love Kaz with all my heart, but my type is probably like the opposite. In my head though, I love Kaz. They're fun to read about. I love seeing him, but I would never. The next one says you like long-term relationships, which is so true. I do love long-term relationships. I really, really value people. Okay, the next one says you find it easy to talk to strangers. I would say that that's actually pretty true for the most part. I think in general it's really true because I love meeting people. I'm a university student, so I'm like around campus a lot, so for the most part a lot of the strangers that I meet are like other students, and I'm like so open to meeting other students, and I love being social. I find it fun. Okay, the next one says you're really smart. Okay, it depends on like smart in what way. Like in school, like I do well in school, but I'm like financially illiterate, so that way I'm not smart. So like, what are we? Okay, and then the next one says you're an introvert because relatable, which yes. Yeah, I am an introvert. I'm actually pretty balanced. People in my life tend to assume that I'm an extrovert because I'm really social. I'm just a social introvert. Okay, the next one says you live in America, which absolutely not. Canada. The next one says you like Leigh Bardugo books, which is definitely not true at all. The next one says you are in high school. I'm not in high school. I'm in my third year of undergrad, which I think in America you call it like your junior year. Third year undergrad. Okay, and then the next one says you're an only child, which is not true. I have two older sisters, so I'm the youngest in the family. I do think that I have youngest sibling energy. I like to think that I do. Statistically, it shows that the oldest child is most likely to be successful, but the youngest child is most likely to be happy in life. Which I'll take that. I want to be happy. I'm trying to live a happy life. The next one says you started reading books in middle school, stopped, and got back into it during quarantine. This is partly true. I started reading books way before middle school. I always loved reading. No, I never ordered books from the Scholastic Flyer because we were not part of the top 1%. I'm just kidding. My family would never let me though. But I loved reading like Junie B. Jones, Magic Tree House, 𝐬𝐸 Mysteries. 𝐬𝐸 Mysteries absolutely slapped. Cam Jansen. I loved Rainbow Magic. Just like Yasmin said, people who read Rainbow Magic are baddies now. Middle school is like Percy Jackson, and then like the YA hype era, like Maze Runner, Divergent, Hunger Games, that kind of stuff. I didn't stop reading. I just like read extremely little, like borderline zero in high school, because high school was so rigorous, and then I got back to it, you're right, during quarantine. And then that was like the birth of this channel. Okay, the next one says you secretly write Six of Crows fanfic about 𝐬𝐻. This assumption is actually not true, but I kind of wish that it was. I kind of wish I was like smart enough for that. I'm really not. A fun fact, I don't even read fanfiction. I'm like not part of that community. I just never got into it. Okay, and the next one says you want to get proposed to at the waterfront. This is true. This was submitted by my friend. And then it says you're introverted when around a lot of people and more extroverted when by yourself, like me. Unfortunately, it's not unfortunate actually. People can be different. It's all valid. It's actually the opposite. I'm introverted when I'm by myself and extroverted when I'm around a lot of people. I love spending time just with myself. Like I've never once gotten bored just being by myself. The next one says you don't like K-pop, which is not true. I love K-pop. I grew up on it. I love seeing it become more and more mainstream. Like, it was so surreal to me growing up, especially because I lived in a predominantly white neighborhood, that it was such a whiplash when suddenly Korean media started being like cool. But yeah, I love K-pop. Okay, the next assumption is I read this to my friend, started laughing at me. You've been single your entire life. What makes you I don't know how I feel about that. Is that the energy that I give off? I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. This assumption is true. I have been single my entire life. There's been nobody that I've met in my life up until this point that I had like seriously wanted to be in a relationship with. Okay, the next assumption says that you were popular in high school. Okay, I don't think that I was one of the popular kids. Like, you know, like the people who peak in high school? Like, I had my strong group of friends, and then I was individually friends with quite a few different people. The next one says you're the absolute sweetest, which is thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you. People do say that I'm sweet. Like, specifically they use the word sweet because I'm very affectionate person. I'll say that. You low-key miss really important plot points and find out about it later. Same. This is so true. Oh my gosh, this literally called me out in 1,000 languages. Sometimes I'm like, yo, am I allowed to be a book? Yo, should I be a reader? I fully miss really important things. This is why it's so hard for me to read like politically heavy books, because sis, if you miss something, it actually impacts everything else. I don't get things, and the worst part about it is that I'm like reading it and I'm like, oh, I don't understand this. And then I just move on. I don't even go back and try to understand. I'm just like, oh, it's fine. 𝐬𝐤𝐬 will explain it to me later. The next assumption is you easily cry. This is true for books. I cry easily when I read books. But then everything else, like in real life, I'm not someone who angry cries or frustrate cries. I actually did the opposite. I kind of but I really cry easily when I read books. I happy cry a lot. I happy cry more than sad cry because I'm so touched. Okay, you're semi put together. This is not true. Okay, the next one says my assumption is more of a fact. You are literally the best person. You guys need to stop gassing me. You guys have to stop. This is definitely not true. I'm definitely not the best person. I could definitely be better in a lot of facets. Okay, the next one says you don't give 5-star reviews very often. Okay, I'll say this is I don't know, actually. I would say this is true in the fact that to me 5 stars doesn't mean that it's like a perfect book. It means that I'm like really obsessed with it for absolutely no reason at all. Okay, the next one says you're a straight A student. This is true. I feel like in Gen Z, right? And that's actually like not a flex. So only because I'm the type of learner our public education system caters towards. So I'm just very lucky. Okay, the next one says you love hoodies, which is so true. I love a crew neck though. I love a crew neck. Okay, those are all the assumptions that I'm going to be responding to. And as always, thank you so much for supporting me and this channel and just like making this community what it is. Like, okay, and that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I love you so much. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.